actually going to take the dust jacket off. Whenever I get hardcover books, I always take the dust jacket off because I don't like how it slips and slides when I'm trying to read. And I also don't want to like set it down and rip it or whatever. So anyway, here we go. This is my very first time opening it. Okay. Chapter 1. I get flushed. Look, I didn't want to be a high school senior. I was hoping my dad would write me a note. Dear whoever, please excuse Percy Jackson from school forever and just give him the diploma. Thanks, Poseidon. I figured I'd earn that much after battling gods and monsters since I was 12 years old. I'd saved the world 3 times. 4. I've lost count. You don't need the details. I'm not sure I even remember them at this point. Maybe you're thinking, but wow, you're the son of a Greek god. That must be amazing. Honest truth. Most of the time, being a demigod blows chunks. Anybody who tells you different is trying to recruit you for a quest. So there I was, stumbling down the hallway on my first morning of classes at a new high school again. After losing my entire junior year because of magical amnesia, don't ask. My textbooks were spilling out of my arms and I had no idea where to find my third period English class. Math and biology had already melted my brain. I wasn't sure how I was going to make it to the end of the day. Then a voice crackled over the loudspeaker. Percy Jackson, please report to the counselor's office. At least none of the other students knew me yet. Nobody looked at me and laughed. I just turned, all casual-like, and meandered back toward the administration wing. Alternative High is housed in a former elementary school in Queens. That means kitty-sized desks and no lockers, so you have to carry all your stuff from class to class. Down every hall, I could find cheery reminders of the school's former childhood. Smudges of finger paint on the walls, unicorn stickers peeling off the fire extinguishers, the occasional ghostly whiff of fruit juice and graham crackers. AHS takes anybody who needs to finish their high school career. It doesn't matter if you're coming back from juvie or have severe learning differences or happen to be a demigod with really bad luck. It is also the only school in the New York area that would admit me for my senior year and help me make up all the course credit I'd lost as a junior. On the bright side, it has a swim team and an Olympic-sized pool. No idea why. So my stepdad, Paul Blowfist, thought it might be a good fit for me. I promised him I'd try. I also promised my girlfriend Annabeth. The plan was that I'd graduate on time so we could go to college together. I didn't want to disappoint her. The idea of her going off to California without me kept me up at night. I found the counselor's office in what must have once been the school infirmary. I deduced from a painting on the wall of a sad purple frog with a thermometer in its mouth. Mr. Jackson, come in. The guidance counselor came around her desk, ready to shake my hand. Then she realized I had 6,000 pounds of textbooks in my arm. Oh, just put those down anywhere, she said. Please have a seat. She gestured to a blue plastic chair about a foot too low for me. Sitting in it, I was eye level with a jar of Jolly Ranchers on her desk. So, the counselor beamed at me from her comfy-looking adult-sized chair. Her bottle-thick glasses made her eyes swim. Her gray hair was curled up into scalloped rose that reminded me of an oyster bed. How are you settling in? The chair's a little short. I mean, at school. Well, I've only had 2 classes. Have you started on your college applications? I just got here. Exactly, we're already behind. I glanced at the purple frog, who looked as miserable as I felt. Look, miss, call me Eudora, she said cheerfully. Now let's see what brochures we have. She rummaged through her desk. Polytech, BU, NYU, ASU, FU. No. I wanted to stop her. My temples were throbbing. My ADHD was pinging around my skin like billiard balls. I couldn't think about college today. Ma'am, I appreciate your help, but really, I've kinda already got a plan. If I can just get through this year. Yes, New Rome University, she said, still digging through her desk drawer. But the mortal counselor doesn't seem to have a brochure. My ears popped. I tasted salt water in the back of my throat. The mortal counselor. My hand drifted toward the pocket of my jeans where I kept my favorite weapon, a deadly ballpoint pen. This wouldn't have been the first time I had to defend myself from an attack at school. You'd be amazed how many teachers, administrators, or other school staff are monsters in disguise. Or maybe you wouldn't be amazed. Who are you? I asked. She sat up and smiled. I told you, I'm Eudora. I studied her more closely. Her hair was, in fact, a bed of oysters. Her dress shimmered like jellyfish membrane. It's weird how the mist works. Even for demigods who see supernatural stuff all the time, you have to concentrate to pierce the barrier between the human world and the godly one. Otherwise, the mist just kind of plasters over what you see, making ogres look like pedestrians or a giant draken look like the N train. And believe me, it's embarrassing trying to board a draken when one rampages into the Astoria Boulevard station. What did you do with the regular counselor? I asked. Oh, don't worry about her. She couldn't help you with New Rome. That's why I'm here. Eudora waved. Oh, something about her tone made me feel not reassured, at least, but at least not personally threatened. Maybe she only ate other guidance counselors. Her presence felt familiar too. The salty tingle in my nostrils, the pressure in my ears as if I were 1,000 feet underwater. I'd realized I'd encountered someone like her before when I was 12 years old at the bottom of the Mississippi River. You're a sea spirit, I said. A nereid. Eudora chuckled. Yes, of course, Percy. Did you think I was a dryad? So, my father sent you. She raised an eyebrow as if she was starting to worry I might be a bit slow on the uptake. Weirdly, I get that look a lot. Yes, dear. Poseidon, your father, my boss. Now, I'm sorry I can't find a brochure, but I know you'll need all the usual human requirements for New Rome University, test scores, official transcripts, and an up-to-date psycho-educational evaluation. Those aren't a problem. They aren't. After all I'd been through, it might be too early to judge on the last one. But you'll also need a few, special entry requirements. I got the taste of salt water got sharper in my mouth. What special requirements? Has anyone talked to you about divine recommendation letters? She looked like she really wanted the answer to be yes. No, I said. She fiddled with her jar of Jolly Ranchers. I see. Well, you'll need three letters, not one, not two, but three. 3 letters from 3 different gods, but I'm sure for a demigod of your talents. What? Eudora flinched. Or we could look at some very nice backup schools. Hohoka's community college is very nice. Are you kidding me? The nereid's face started to glisten. Rivulets of salt water trickled from her oyster bed hair. I felt bad about getting angry. This wasn't her fault. I knew she was only trying to help me because my dad had ordered her to. Still, it wasn't the kind of news I wanted to deal with on a Monday morning, or ever. I steadied my breathing. Sorry, it's just I need to get into New Rome. I've done a lot of stuff for the gods over the years. Can't I just, email them a recommendation form? Eudora's eyebrows nodded. Her dress was now sloughing off sheets of seawater. A pool of it spread across the green tile floor, seeping ever closer to my textbooks. Ugh, I have to do new quests, don't I? Well, dear, the college admissions process is always challenging, but I'm here to help. How about this? If my father really wants to help, maybe he should explain this to me himself rather than sending you here to break the bad news. Oh, well, that would be, out of character, I agreed. Something buzzed in Eudora's hairdo, shall do, making her jump. I'd wondered if she'd gotten an electric eel stuck in her oyster bed, but she plucked out one of the shells. Excuse me, I have to take this. She put the shell to her ear. Hello? Oh, yes, sir. I missed you in person." She said in person the way most teachers say in detention. I tried to act cool, like I had won an argument, but my dad and I hadn't talked in a while. He usually only brought me to his underwater palace when a war was about to start. I was hoping maybe he'd give me a week or so to settle at school before he summoned me. "Great, so I can go back to class." "Oh no, dear, he means now." Around my feet, the water swirled into a whirlpool. The tiles began to crack and dissolve. "But don't worry," Dora promised. "We'll meet again." The floor dropped out from under my chair, and I plunged into a churning maelstrom of with a thunderous flush. Okay, we'll read one more chapter. So, chapter 2. My dad helps out. My dad helps out. No actual helping occurs. My dad helps out. No actual helping occurs. Okay. You know you've been a demigod too long when you're flushed out of your school straight into the Atlantic Ocean and you're not even surprised. I didn't try to fight the current. I could breathe underwater, so that wasn't an issue. I just sat in my blue plastic chair and rocked through Poseidon's private plumbing system, DM, powered by a 5 billion gallon tsunami, faster than you could say, "Well, that sucked." I erupted from the seafloor like I'd been coughed up by a mollusk. As the sand cloud around me settled, I tried to get my bearings. My nautical senses told me I was about 40 miles southeast of the Long Island coast, 200 feet down. No big deal for a son of Poseidon, but kids, don't try this at home. 100 yards in front of me, the continental shelf dropped into the darkness, and right on the precipice stood a glittering palace, Poseidon's summer villa. As usual, my dad was remodeling. I guess when you're immortal, you get tired of having the same crib for centuries. Poseidon always seemed to be gutting, renovating, or expanding. It helped that when it came to undersea building projects, he had pretty much infinite power and free labor. A pair of blue whales was towing a marble column the size of an apartment building. Hammerhead sharks slathered grout between rows of coral brickwork with their fins and cephalofoils. Hundreds of merfolk darted here and there, all wearing bright yellow hard hats that matched their lamp-like eyes. A couple of them waved at me as I swam through the worksite. A dolphin in a reflective safety vest gave me a high five. I found my dad standing by a half-constructed infinity pool that looked over the abyss of the Hudson Canyon. I wasn't sure what the point of an infinity pool was when you're already underwater, but I knew better than to ask. My dad was pretty chill most of the time, but you didn't want to question his stylistic choices. Some of the Greek gods I'd met liked to morph their appearance on a daily basis. They could do that being, gods, but Poseidon seemed to have settled on a look that worked for him, even if it didn't work for anyone else. Today he wore rumpled cargo shorts that matched his Crocs and socks. His camp shirt looked like it had been targeted in a paintball war between Team Purple and Team Hello Kitty. His fishing cap was fringed with spinnerbait lures. In his hand, a celestial bronze trident thrummed with power, making the water boil around its wicked points. With his athletic frame, dark trimmed beard, and curly salt and pepper hair, you'd think he was 45 until he turned to smile at you. Then you noticed the weathered lines of his face, like a well-worn mountainside, and the deep melancholy green of his eyes, and you could appreciate that this guy was older than most nations, powerful, ancient, and weighed down by a lot more than water pressure. "Percy," he said. "Hey, we have deep conversations like that." His smile tightened. "How's the new school?" I bit back the urge to point that I'd only made it through 2 classes before getting flushed into the sea. "So far, it's okay." I must not have sounded convincing because my dad furrowed his bushy eyebrows. I imagined storm clouds forming along the Atlantic coast, boats rocking in an angry swell. "If it's not up to snuff, I'd be happy to send a tidal wave." "No, it's cool," I said hastily. "So about these college rec letters." Poseidon sighed. "Yes, Eudora volunteered to counsel you. She's the nereid of gifts from the sea. You understand, loves helping she would have waited a bit before breaking the news. In other words, now he had to do it, and he didn't like that. If you've concluded that Poseidon is a hands-off type of parent, you win the chicken dinner award. I didn't even meet him until I was in middle school when, purely by coincidence, he needed something from me. But we get along okay now. I know he loves me in his own way. It's just hard for gods to be close to their mortal offspring. We demigods don't live long compared to the gods. To them, we're sort of like gerbils who get killed a lot. Plus, Poseidon had a lot of other stuff going on. Ruling the oceans, dealing with oil spills, hurricanes, and cranky sea monsters. Remodeling his mansions. I just want to get into New Rome University, I said. Isn't there any way you can, I wriggled my fingers trying to indicate godlike magic that could make problems disappear. Not that I'd ever seen such a thing. Gods are much better at magically creating problems than making them go away. Poseidon combed his mustache with the tip of his trident. How he did that without cutting his face, I don't know. Unfortunately, those recommendation letters are the best I could do. The only way the Olympian Council will let you work off your debt. Communicating underwater is complicated. I was partly translating his words from whale song hums and clicks, and partly hearing his voice telepathically in my head, so I wasn't sure I understood him. I haven't got any student debt, I said. I haven't even been accepted yet. Not student debt. This is the debt you owe for existing. You mean being a child of one of the big three? Your kid. Poseidon gazed into the distance as if he'd just noticed something interesting in the abyss. I half expected him to shout, "Look, shiny," and then disappear while my head was turned. About 70 years ago, the big three gods, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, made a pact not to sire any more demigod children. We were too powerful and unpredictable. We tended to start major wars, instigate natural disasters, create bad sitcoms, whatever. Being gods, the big three still found ways to break the pact and not get in trouble. Instead, it was us demigod kids who suffered. I thought we'd move past this, I muttered. I helped you guys fight the Titans. I know, my dad said. And Gaia and the Giants. I know. And my son. The edge to his voice told me it would be best to stop listing my greatest hits. If it were up to me, I would waive this ridiculous requirement altogether. Alas, someone, he glanced up, someone being code for his unreasonable brother Zeus, is a stickler for the rules. You were never supposed to be born, so you were technically ineligible for New Rome University. I couldn't believe this. Also, I could totally believe this. Just when I thought I might catch a break, I didn't. The Olympian gods seemed to think I was their personal kickball. I relaxed my jaw to keep from grinding my teeth. So, 3 recommendation letters. Poseidon brightened. Zeus wanted it to be 25. I talked him down to 3. He looked like he was waiting for something. Thank you, I grumbled. I don't suppose you could write one for me. I'm your father. I would be biased. Yeah, we wouldn't want any bias. I'm glad you understand. To earn each letter, you will have to undertake a new quest. All 3 will have to be completed before the application deadline of the winter solstice. Each time a god writes you a letter of recommendation, give it to Eudora and she'll put it in your file. I tried to think of gods who might cut me some slack and give me some simple quest. I'd helped lots of immortals over the year. The trick was coming up with some who would remember I had helped them, or even just remember my name. I guess I can ask Hermes and Artemis. Oh, you can't go asking the gods. They'll have to come to you. But don't worry, Poseidon looked really pleased with himself. I took the liberty of putting your name on the Olympian quest board. The what now? Poseidon snapped his fingers and a neon yellow flyer appeared in his hand. It was an ad with my photo and this copy. Percy Jackson will do your quests in exchange for college recommendation letters. The bottom of the flyer was cut into little strips with my home address on each one. The photo looked like it had been taken from inside my bathroom mirror, which raised a whole bunch of disturbing questions. My hair was wet, my eyes were half closed, a toothbrush was sticking out of my mouth. You already posted this, didn't you? I said. It wasn't a problem, Poseidon assured me. I had my sea sprites put them up all over Mount Olympus too. I'm so grateful. His hand settled on my shoulder. I know. I also know you weren't expecting this extra obstacle, but just think, once you get into college, you should have a much easier life. Monsters hardly ever attack older demigods. You and your girlfriend, Annabeth. Yes, you and Annabeth strident against the patio stones. The floor opened, and I was flush